In this video, I'm going to go through 6 observations I've made as a psychologist on Love is Blind. Welcome to the Dr. Wyatt Show. I'm your host, Dr. Wyatt Fisher, a licensed psychologist specializing in couples counseling. So Love is Blind is one of the hottest shows around right now. Everybody's watching it. Everybody's talking about it. So I thought it'd be a good time for me to chime in on my observations since I'm a psychologist specializing in couples counseling. I see couples every week, so it's been interesting to watch Love is Blind with my wife and for her and I to have discussions, so I'm going to share some of my observations with you. The first one is that we're all wired for intimacy. Love is Blind shows this. We're all wired for intimacy. All these people are on the show looking for a companion, and this is consistent with psychological research. Psychologist Erik Erikson studied people across the globe, and what he found is that every age, people are going through a different developmental achievement or milestone. And for those people who are between 20 and 40, he called it isolation versus intimacy. And what that means is during that age range, on average, people are looking for a companion. They're looking for a partner so that they can experience intimacy with someone, true oneness and companionship. And if they don't achieve that, they're going to fall into isolation. And isolation creates anxiety, which motivates a lot of people to find a companion. So Love is Blind illustrates this because everyone is there trying to find a companion. Number 2 is that the more you have in common with someone, the better. There's a joke in the couples counseling field that says opposites attract and then they attack. It's a cultural myth that opposites attract and opposites are the best type of couple. Because in reality, the more you are different than your partner, the more likely you're going to have issues and problems and conflict. But on Love is Blind, a lot of the similarities they talk about are trivial things. Like, oh, you like the same color as me, or oh, we were born in the same city. A lot of the things that they start talking about in the pods that they have in common is inconsequential. What you want to look for is your core values. So your faith system, your political system, how healthy you are, how much you value family, how much do you want children. These core things that make you who you are, those are the things you want to have in common with someone else. Number 3 is that commitment exposes your insecurities and your fears. This is illustrated a lot in Love is Blind. And this is why a lot of the people haven't been married yet, because they have all these fears, such as, I don't want to lose my partner one day, or I don't want to be cheated on one day, or I don't know if I have what it takes to be a good partner. They have all these insecurities, and that creates walls so that they don't get too serious with people because they're actually fearful of commitment because of all these insecurities and anxieties. But on Love is Blind, it's forcing them to face those issues so that they can get engaged and eventually marry. And I can relate to this one because when my wife and I decided to get married, this was back in 1999, we both had worries. We both had fears. And I can remember sitting in a car with her in a parking lot, writing down all my fears about getting married. She wrote down all her fears about getting married. What if this happens? What if that happens? And we talked through those fears one at a time. And by doing so, it made us less scared. It made us less worried. It made us less anxious to get married. And I see that same thing happening on Love is Blind. They talk through their anxieties. They talk through their fears. And by doing that, it helps them feel safer to move forward. Number 4 is there's too much focus on feelings. Now, obviously, this is a balance. You want to feel in love with someone you're going to marry. However, all relationships go through phases. You go through summer, then fall, then winter, then spring. Summer is when you're first falling in love and everything's amazing. Then you go into fall. You start having some conflicts. There's some stress. Your needs aren't being met as well. And then if you're not careful, you're going to go from there right into winter. Winter is where you have resentments. You have a lot of conflict and needs are definitely not being met. But if you work hard through winter, you can move into spring. Spring is where you fall back in love. Your needs start being met again. You have less conflicts. Your resentments are resolved. So with Love is Blind, these couples are going through their relationship in fast forward, and they're experiencing all these stressors when they hit the real world. So it makes sense that these couples are actually going through summer, fall, winter, and spring. Therefore, sometimes when they say, oh, I don't have those butterfly feelings anymore, therefore maybe they're not the right match for me. That's possible. Or Maybe you're just going through the normal phases of a relationship in fast forward because of the context with Love is Blind. Because your commitment cannot be based entirely on how you feel, because feelings are fleeting. Number 5 is there's too much focus on, I hope we make it. I hope we have a happy marriage. I hope we have a good life together. There's way too much focus on the program on I hope. And this is also indicative of our culture. We get married and everything is so easy when you first fall in love. It's effortless. But in reality, there's skills and training that are needed for couples to make it. It's not a gamble. You don't just want to risk, just hope that you're going to do okay. You want to be intentional about it and get trained on tools and skills, such as how to resolve conflicts, how to talk through resentments, how to share power on decisions, how to cultivate emotional intimacy. There's tools and skills built around all those areas in relationships. That's what I do with couples every day. If you want to learn more about my tools, be sure to click the link in the description to learn more. But that's one thing that stands out to me in Love is Blind is these couples are so hopeful for the future without any concrete plan of how to get trained and how to get skilled in order to ensure the future, or at least optimize their chances for the future. Think about your career, how much training you've gone through with college, certifications, continuing education to be successful in your career. Marriage needs the same level of training. Number 6, my analysis as a psychologist watching is that love is not blind. Because a lot of these couples, when they first see each other, it ruins things because they don't have that physical attraction. Having said that, there is a lot of advantage with Love is Blind, the experiment, because there's no physical allowed. And what that does is it forces them to foster other areas of intimacy, emotional intimacy, social intimacy. And that's why they get so close so fast, because everything physical is put on the back burner. And in real life, it's the opposite. When couples are first getting together, it's all about the physical. And because it's all about the physical, they don't spend enough time fostering the emotional intimacy and the social intimacy. And that's why the experiment on Love is Blind is effective, because it forces couples to nurture other areas of intimacy because all the physical is put on the back burner. So those are my 6 observations as a psychologist. Number 1, we're wired for intimacy. Number 2, the more you have core values in common with someone, the better. Number 3, commitment exposes our fears and insecurities. Number 4, there's too much focus on your feelings. They're important, but they're not everything. Number 5, there's too much focus on hoping things go well instead of focusing on getting trained in skills on how to do well. Number 6, love is definitely not blind. However, having everything physical on the back burner forces couples to nurture the emotional and social intimacy. Hope you enjoyed my video today. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to be notified of future videos I put out. And also leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of my 6 observations. Which ones do you agree with and which ones do you not agree with? And I'll respond back to you in the comments. Until next time, bye for now.